Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's history lesson. Yeah, I know it says Candace Jones, but I am Robert Washington, and I'm using my mother's account today. So, we will be talking about the secession. The secession. The secession. Yeah, it's a word. It's a tongue twister in itself. Of the states, the southern states to be exact. This was during the time before the Civil War started. The southern states seceded because they wanted to keep slavery because they had fertile land. They did not want to do all that work for themselves, so they wanted to use slaves. Abraham Lincoln was not having it. He was not having it. That's who this man is right here in the left top corner, the president of the United States before the southern states seceded. Then he became the president of the northern states when the states, seceded. This man in the left bottom corner, that is Jefferson Davis, the president of the southern states. In the right top corner, that is a map showing you the two different countries at the time when everyone was divided. In this, in the left bottom corner, is the root of it all, the spirit of division, and there's more spirits with it too. So let's jump right into it. So we'll be talking about the two perspectives, the northern's perspective and the southern's, and what's really behind this. What is the agenda? So the North's view on the secession. Abraham Lincoln, it's pretty clear. I make it clear in each one of these points that he did not want the country to be divided at all. No way. He was not for that. He did everything he could. He believed, he even made a whole speech. He believed that it was in the democracy. He detested slavery. He didn't like that people were being in bondage to do work that it makes no sense. Why would you be going all the way overseas to get people? He didn't like that at all. And once again, he hated division. He wanted his country to stay unified. Lincoln, he warned America that this was a house divided, and people didn't listen. They didn't listen at all. They just stayed in there, and we don't care. We're gonna keep these slaves. He was willing to preserve the Union at any cost. He wanted America to stay unified. He would do anything. He went to any lengths. He made speeches. He tried to emancipate the slaves. You learn about that in the next slide. He did everything in his power that he can do. The South's view of the secession. The first state to secede was South Carolina. This was the state that was headstrong in everything. That's where everyone followed them. Fun fact, Tennessee was the last state to secede. This great state of Tennessee. Yeah, South Carolina was the first state to leave because they had enough. They had enough of Lincoln telling them that they couldn't have their slaves. They did not want to listen. So South Carolina seceded. The reason why they left because they wanted to keep their slaves. That was their life. Abraham Lincoln was talking against their slavery. Like I said, he even tried to emancipate, which means flee the slaves. Free the slaves. The Emancipation Proclamation. The Emancipation Proclamation that was burned up in the Chicago fire. But it's still, he tried. You see that he tried to do something about slavery. He was not for it at all. As I said, the South was very fertile. They had crops growing, cotton, corn, soybeans, mostly cotton, really. And they needed, but they wanted to use slaves for their work. Do you know how much field they had? Fields and fields. They was not finna do that themselves. So they wanted to keep their slaves. They was not finna give up their slaves because some president that they didn't even want to be in office tells them to. They didn't want to do all that harvest by themselves. They was not finna give up that. They've been doing that since the beginning. They was not finna give up their way of life just because this president that we hate, we don't even want him. We don't. So why would we listen to them? They're like, that's the way of life. They don't want to give that up. Now here's the root of it. Look at how America is divided. Blue on top, red on the bottom. The spirit of division brought the separation. It wanted to make America fall apart. Did not want it to stand strong. Racism that's what started slavery. Racism. They didn't even have to go. It makes no sense. Why would you go to Africa to get slaves? Because, oh, I know why. Because you don't want to do all that work by yourself. Poverty and laziness came into that as well. The white people, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that by ourselves. That's what we got these slaves for. And it goes back to how Abraham Lincoln wanted to keep America unified. How he wanted to make America stay a great country. He did not want it to be separated. He wanted everyone to live together, to be in peace, and just stop all this slavery and bondage. And as you can see, many forces of evil work together to destroy countries. Many things go into why it's separated, because they wanted to keep their old way of life. They did not want to give it up. The North was like, no, because the North, they didn't have to worry about slaves. They were powered off factories, trains. So they didn't. The Southern, it's more fertile, and they can grow crops there, like in Florida, oranges. But in the North, they don't got to worry about slaves. So the North is like, why can't you just hire people? But this is what caused the Civil War, and we're great. And I'm so glad that the North won, and America is somewhat unified today. Thank you for learning. Thank you for learning. I hope you learned a lot today. And remember that unity is awesome. We need to always be unified. We always need to stick together. We always need to come together, be one. We need to be unified. So I hope you learned a lot today. And I hope you learned a lot. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day. Yeah. Have a great day. Goodbye.